Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max's Models here, and if this looks a little out of sync, it probably is, because once I was done doing this video, I found out that the software I was using could not apparently read my Yeti microphone, and when I tried to use the microphone built into the system, then it just wound up being really bad. So, today we have an unboxing. I got a box from Mr. Morrison out in Texas. He says, Max, thanks for all the time you invest in making the shows. You help us to use our imaginations when building, and you make the hobby better for a lot of people. I appreciate all you do. I hope you have some fun with these. Still hope you can travel out to the DFW area sometime so we can see the aerospace points of interest here. Thanks, Mr. Morrison. Well, first off, thank you, Mr. Morrison. I really do appreciate that, and there's nothing I'd love to do more than that. So, here's what's in the box. We have the Apollo Soyuz. Now, I built this Revell kit in 1:96 scale some years ago, and it was on my shelf for a decade plus. And I don't know if it got destroyed in the big shelf collapse or if I lost it during the move, but it's nice to have another one to replace it. I remember when I built it, I thought the antennas were too big and chunky until I saw the real one, the training device, in the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., and realized, nope, those Russian antennas really are that big and clunky. So the next thing is the Italeri 1:48 scale F-22. I built the big one that Tester sold for a while that was really a very basic kit despite its size, but the Italeri kit's a lot more detailed, much nicer. And I don't have an F-22 in the stash, or didn't until now, so that helps complete my jet collection. We then have some kits from the movie Solo. We have the Millennium Falcon before Han had taken it, when it was still Lando's, when it still had the little escape pod in the nose. That'll help complete my Star Wars collection. And we have Han's speeder, which, is it me, or does this kind of remind you of a 64 Polara a little bit? Anywho. Then last but not least, we have the Airfix 1:144 scale space shuttle. And I really am grateful for this because, believe it or not, as long as I've been building model rockets, I've never built the space shuttle and didn't have one in the stash. So I appreciate that. It really rounds out my space collection, my real space collection, perfectly. So again, thanks, Mr. Morrison. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to get these set up in the queue. The shuttles can be actually a little more challenging than you might think because they have that very complex tile pattern on the bottom. So we'll see how that comes out. A lot of people just tape it off and paint the bottom black, and that's fine. Looks good on the shelf. But if you really want to get into the weeds, I've seen some amazing builds. So that's really all I have for today. I have appointments tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get anything done. Then I go to work for 2 days, back on Friday, and then Saturday the live stream. And of course, our friend Dan Monroe is supposed to join us. He'll be with us a half hour or so, at least I hope. And I think the subject matter is probably going to be movie franchises and model franchises from the 60s and 70s that are still in production today. I mean, they're still making Planet of the Apes movies, Lost in Space TV shows and movies, King Kong and Godzilla, and of course Star Trek. And so a lot of stuff to cover there. The thing I particularly want to talk to him about, because he's an expert on the robot from the original Lost in Space. And despite all the other iterations, I have to really, I don't think they've ever done justice to the original robot. I've never really cared that much for the two robots in the following movie, nor the spaceship. And we'll probably talk about that, the aesthetics of Lost in Space models and movies and whatever else crops up. So that's what I have for right now. Guys, apologize for the error. It's probably a little confusing to see my lips moving and the words not exactly matching up, but then, despite all the set dressing, I still profess the lowest production values on the internet. Guys, take care of yourselves. And as always, model on.